I want to tell you a little bit about one of my favorite books. It's by an author named Edwin Friedman, and it's called A Failure of Nerve. This book has been pivotal to me, along with his book Generation and Generation, which is a little bit more of a dense read, and Friedman's Fables, in helping us identify exactly who we are. When we know who we are, then we can interact better with other people in a more healthy way. And often what happens in our congregations is we have a real identity crisis because nobody wants to take the helm, nobody wants to steer the ship, guide the ship, cast the vision, execute the vision, and move ahead, because when you do that, when you pick your path, you're also not picking other paths, and you're choosing to aggravate some people while making other people happy. And there's a real tendency among volunteer leadership, which we have in our churches, to peacemonger. And here's what Edwin Friedman says in Failure of Nerve. In any type of institution whatsoever, when a self-directed, imaginative, energetic, or creative member is being constantly frustrated and sabotaged, rather than encouraged and supported, what will turn out to be true 100% of the time, regardless of whether the disruptors are supervisors, subordinates, or peers, is that the person at the very top of the institution is a peacemonger. Now hear that. If you find yourself undermined, if you find yourself sabotaged, if the creative, energetic people who are trying to innovate and trying to go out and try to get things done are constantly being found kind of at cross with everybody, then what you find is that there are people at the top of the structure who are trying to keep everything in check. They're trying to keep the parts from moving. They're trying to keep things exactly as they are. And in doing so, feel like they're being faithful to do that. That they're not proponents of change, but they're proponents of peace. But really, this is a faux sense of peace. It's not a real lasting, deep down in your soul kind of peace. It's a peace that basically just says, nobody make a move, because we don't want to disrupt anything, and we don't want to make anybody anxious or fearful or afraid. No, we wouldn't want anybody to have to handle anything like that. And so let's just keep things the way they are. You'll hear it again, we've always done it this way. Well, chances are that's probably true of a lot of things, but not true of everything. So one of the hidden dangers in leadership is not moving forward in the name of peace, not moving forward in the name of unity. And in doing so, we say, well, we're just keeping everybody together. You're really not. You're never really keeping everybody together, because the people who are ready to get out there and get things done are not able to go out there and get things done, because when they try to do that, they get undermined, they get sabotaged, and you're left scratching your head saying, well, why wouldn't these things work? Because there's someone there who's trying to keep the peace. And in order to keep the peace with everyone else, they have to keep you in check. This is very hard for us to wrap our minds around and identify, but once we put words to it, once Friedman has put words to this, it makes it all the more obvious when these things take place. I hear from a lot of my minister friends about the situations that they're in and the difficulties that they're in and the ways that they get undermined and discouraged in their ministry. And you can bet, just as Friedman says, in all those instances, there are people at the top of the heap, or elders and structures of leadership in place that are just trying to keep the system exactly as it is. And that is a very frustrating place for us to be. So don't be a peacemonger, be a leader, be a motivator, be an inspirer, be a vision caster. Someone has to do that. And if no one is doing that, there's going to be a lot of frustration. See, we bought into a lie that says if you just keep things as they are, you will keep people from being frustrated. But the truth of the matter is, by keeping things the way they are, we are by very definition frustrating another group of people. Now, how leaders often gauge the frustratedness of the congregation is through who they hear complaining and whether or not they're hearing many complaints. Now, the problem with that gauge is that you're only going to hear the complainers who really think you're listening to them. And that's going to be more your peers, people who have a relationship with you. It's not going to be a good cross-section of the congregation to make a wise judgment on who is actually frustrated and who is not. And often those who get frustrated tend to just kind of back down, back away, and eventually leave rather than continue to engage the system. And so people, the leadership finally thinks, oh, we finally found peace. No, what you finally did was you worked your hardest working people far enough through the stages of grief, through denial, oh, this church can't be this way, through bargaining and depression, through anger, for finally acceptance. And they finally said, okay, tried hard enough, tried long enough, this is the way it is, it's never going to change, I'm just going to stop complaining about it. And when that happens, you haven't actually appeased anybody, you don't actually have a real unity. You may have a sense of unity, but you don't have any real unity in the mix in the congregation. You just have now people who were active and vibrant and involved who are now complacent and who have come to accept that status quo is the way it's always going to be. And then you have people who are truly happy that status quo is the way it's going to be. But that group actually may be a lot smaller number than you think. So let's not peacemonger, let's vision cast, and let's inspire and encourage and motivate and delegate and rise up leaders who are willing to go out and engage the world in the mission of Jesus. We need to be people who are inspiring and motivating, not people who are just looking just to conserve and looking just to stop and stymie any little initiative that might take place because it's not under the direct oversight or leadership. So I think we've experienced this probably a lot more than we know. This just puts some words to it. And I want to read this quote one more time just to let it sink in. In any type of institution whatsoever, when a self-directed, imaginative, energetic, or creative member is being constantly frustrated and sabotaged, rather than encouraged and supported, what will turn out to be true 100% of the time, regardless of whether the disruptors are supervisors, subordinates, or peers, is that the person at the very top of the institution is a peacemonger. Edwin Friedman, a failure of nerve. So let's look for the people who are energetic, let's look for the people who are creative, and let us pour into them, encourage them, support them, stop and pray with them, shepherd them into a better future. The church will be better for it. You will find more unity and mission than you will ever find in complacency. So thank you for watching this. Pass it on to a friend, share it on social media, throw it on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, wherever you want to put it. And please hit that subscribe button. Let us know you're watching in the comments because that allows YouTube to know, hey, let more people see this. And again, God bless you. Thanks for being here.